South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Looking to bet smarter? Get sports betting insight and winning picks straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
I think we're going to get goals from both sides here. Give me over 5.5.
That is also one of my favorite plays of the weekend is the Colts -3 on the road.
So you're getting plus 130 here.
I mean, how can you go against Tusky?
Exactly.
Join Sports by the Book at 10 a.m. Pacific and bet your winning edge.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. So much to get to here on Sports by the Book. So much to get to for everybody, I'm sure. Getting ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow. You got to get your bets in for the triple header in the NFL. We're going to help you get ready for that. You can find on our YouTube channel, we have clips from each of those games for the 3 tomorrow. Today, we're going to help you get ready for some Friday games. Of course, we will have Football Frenzy this Friday at 12:15, but there are some games that'll start before that. Week 14 in college football. I cannot wait. Rivalry week should be a great one. Have a lot of great matchups. We will have a guest joining us in about 5 minutes. Spencer McLaughlin, voice of SUU Athletics, also does Locked on Ducks and Locked on College Football. So we're looking forward to that, to pick his brain and where he's at and how he feels about the bracket. We've been trying to talk with him for a while, so that should be a lot of fun. We'll have him for about 20 minutes, and then we will break down some of the college basketball games coming up and some of the hockey games. I'm Alex Way, alongside Ryan McCormick, as always, for Sports by the Book. Ryan, some fun. I think basketball gets to go first. College basketball has been so fun. We know these tournaments are such a good draw. The field is great. here right down the street in Las Vegas. The Players Era has been awesome. And we've got a championship game tonight. Any takeaways from last night's games?
Well, my pick yesterday was the Oregon Ducks to defeat the San Diego State Aztecs, and they did not show up. And I'll have to give Spencer a little bit of crap for that once he joins us. But yeah, tonight we get Gonzaga against Michigan in the Players Era Championship down at MGM. That is going to be an absolutely amazing game. And just from the other basketball that took place last night, we kind of talked about UNLV running out of gas against an opponent like Alabama, who loves to keep up the tempo. And that absolutely came into play last night in the second half. So Alabama, absolutely destroyed UNLV.
Just 115 points there for the Crimson Tide. I mean, they've been awesome. Gonzaga, huge 161 win over Maryland. Michigan, 102-72 against Auburn. I mean, these are good teams that they're going up against too. So really great tournament. I'm looking forward to talking about those games later in this show. See if we have any angles for everybody. What about hockey? Impressive for the Stars, or are we just really concerned about the Oilers right now?
A little bit of both. I think the Stars, absolutely did everything that they needed to. Put up 8 goals last night, defeating the Oilers 8-3 in Edmonton. And so it's really not looking good for the Oilers. We might be getting a fire sale coming here soon.
Ooh, it'll be interesting. See what they decide to do.
Yeah.
And then college football. I'm glad I stayed away from the Dogs there. I said it was weird that they were betting Western Michigan, like they knew the outcome. If you did get the 10, you got to push. Yeah. But on the other side, UMass, I mean, it's just been a brutal year for them. And they give up 45 to Bowling Green and lose that one 45-14.
Yeah, Bowling Green goes over the total by themselves in that one, covering the spread there. And then, Western Michigan ultimately covered the spread when we were talking about it on the show, and then moved to 10 eventually once we were off air and got the push there. So favorites technically 2-0 straight up, 1-0-1 against the spread yesterday, and both totals went over there on the gridiron.
And then we haven't been handicapping the NBA, but you have been keeping us up to date on all of the trends. So yesterday, 3 games.
Yeah, just 3 games. Favorites went 2-1 straight up and against the spread. The Wizards were the home dog to win against the Hawks yesterday. And totals, all 3 games went over.
Wow. All right. There you have it. Let's take a quick break. Let's check our levels, and we'll bring in our guest here very shortly. So don't go anywhere. We have Spencer McLaughlin joining us here on Sports by the Book when we get back.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Join Jeff Parles and Alex White.
One of my favorite plays here is getting 2 touchdowns with Florida State.
Even though the total's been batted down a little bit, I still think it's okay to go under.
Chris Andrews and Vinny Magliulo.
I don't think this is a great Kansas City team. I think the Chargers win this game.
All right.
If you see a hook here, it's not going to last long.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Are we sure either of these quarterbacks are good?
Hell no, we're not sure.
Bet your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming live on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
And we are back. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you are joining us live. Please hit that subscribe button. In less than 5 minutes, you will be able to jump in the live chat. We'd love to hear from you. If there are any games that you do want us to talk about or just give you our numbers looking ahead to the weekend, please put them in the chat and we will get to that. Of course, we have an awesome poll going, so please give us your opinion on that as well. All right, let's bring him in. Joining Ryan and myself now, Spencer McLaughlin, the play-by-play voice of Southern Utah Athletics, host of Locked on Ducks, Locked on College Football, and Seen on Golic and Golic. Spencer, we've been trying to get you on since before the season started. Here we are already in week 14. So how have you been? How's the season been for you?
Busy, going fast. Can't believe rivalry week is already here, but it is going to be as epic of a rivalry week in college football as I can remember. So I'm here for it. Great to be back on with you guys.
You're up in the Northwest right now. Are you going to go to that rivalry game?
I am. I'm not.
No?
I've got it. SCU actually had, kid you not, a game get canceled that they were going to play on Tuesday in Cedar City because of the opposing team. It's a non-Division I opponent. Called them a few weeks ago and said, "Yeah, we're canceling our season." So,
oh my God!
Instead of playing the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, they're playing a game the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So no, I will not be in Seattle for the border war, but I will indeed be following along, as you might imagine.
Okay. Well, I did happen to take your Ducks last night on the hardwood, and they managed to lose to the San Diego State Aztecs. So, I guess you're blaming me there.
Really sharp. People should listen to you for betting advice after that one.
That's why we've got you here. So we're hoping that you can get us some.
Yeah, I'm not a whiz on the betting advice. I don't know if you've tracked my best bets on Locked on College Football, but I climbed out of a sub 500 hole. I got over 500 a couple weeks ago, and the last 2 weeks against the spread, my picks are 2-10. So yeah, I can't talk that much smack.
Hey, I'll give you some credit there because myself and Chris Andrews this past weekend, we all had a tough one picking those games. So
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. I think those sports books make money from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason these casinos look as good as they do. But we did get the official, well, not official, but the Week 14 bracket reveal last night. Miami is the ACC representative, getting the 11, but the only team to actually move in the standings was your Ducks. They end up hopping the Ole Miss Rebels. So what do you think about the bracket where it stands today?
Well, I was really curious to see that Miami was just projected to be in there, because I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, Miami doesn't control their own destiny to make the ACC championship game. And they were the only ACC team on the board. I don't know how the committee's projecting that. It felt like there was some overcompensation from the committee because maybe they're hearing the noise or pressure or what have you, or they're just realizing that they have royally screwed up by putting Notre Dame several slots ahead of Miami, despite their having the same record and Miami owning the head-to-head victory there. So I think that was odd, because if the playoff ended today, that's not what the projected bracket would look like, because Miami wouldn't be in the ACC championship game. And the ACC champ and the Group of Five champ, which will be Tulane or North Texas most likely, would be in the playoff, and Miami would not. So putting them in there just as like a placeholder, I think was the committee going, well, we gotta let them know we're not ignoring Miami here, because there's no other ACC team on the board. Miami does not. There are scenarios where the Hurricanes can make the ACC championship game, 100%, but they do not control their own fate to do that. Now, they have to beat Pitt, so they control that aspect of it. But the number of scenarios where Miami gets in, there are a handful, but they need other outcomes as well. So I'm befuddled that is the case, and in no world am I okay with Notre Dame getting in as an at-large over Miami if both are 10-2. That would be a stain on the reputation of the sport.
Well, I mean, going back to before the playoff even expanded, we had arguments of, you're very much a football purist. You think every game matters in the season, as it should. But you were against the college football playoff expanding. Now that we're here at 12.
Correct.
You had mentioned Miami needs help. They need Virginia to lose. They need Duke to lose. And they need either SMU to win or lose and more help. So Miami, very much does not control their destiny. But I think what my thoughts were, and a little bit of not necessarily voodoo, but if Ole Miss loses Lane Kiffin after this weekend, I don't think that they should be in the playoff. Granted, it is the team, not the coach.
If they win?
If they beat Mississippi State, yes. But Lane Kiffin leaves, I don't think they should be in. I think that
at 11-1?
Yes. But they lose their head coach.
Bad take.
They lose their head coach.
Yeah, but you in that spot with a 12-team playoff.
Of their roster is then questioned, and they would have to go on the road.
I think that's fair. I think if they lose to Mississippi State,
well, then yes.
That's when it gets interesting,
right?
Because I believe that Lane Kiffin will leave after the Egg Bowl. That's what the indications have been, and if he isn't there, I would hate to punish the players because they're not asking for any of this. Heck, even Lane Kiffin isn't asking for all of this. The college football calendar is just so ridiculously broken that that's where we've left the sport right now. But the idea of leaving them out because Lane Kiffin leaves, it's a different conversation than the Florida State one when they lost Jordan Travis, because that was a 14 playoff. This is a 12-team playoff. Okay. And one of the far down the list reasons of why they wanted to expand was probably to avoid having that situation happen again, because that was so ugly and all that. I thought they made the right decision. And then Florida State lost the bowl game 66-3. So yeah, they made the right decision there. But I think that if Lane Kiffin leaves after a win, Ole Miss should be in. If he leaves after a loss, I don't think they should be viewed differently because, and the committee chair said they weren't looking at them differently with regards to the Lane Kiffin rumors, and Oregon jumped them because of Oregon's performance against USC. Mm-hmm. I think they should be treated as any other 10-2, which is we don't know if they are in. Lane Kiffin shouldn't be a factor, but Ole Miss's resume is good without question. The road win at Oklahoma, very good. But if they lose to Mississippi State, I think their resume is kind of similar to Alabama's. You're 10-2, you're in the SEC, but you have a truly bad loss. And you have to be able to overcome that. Are your wins enough? I think that's a discussion that needs to be had.
I agree. And I think that kind of puts Alabama then in the same category as Notre Dame, which we're seeing that they put higher current form, right? And that's why they aren't even taking that head-to-head, that series for Notre Dame or Alabama, because they were both the first week of the season. But I am with you with Miami now, especially as we're getting deeper. Like, if you're going to be a power rating, then tell us that ahead of time. But the games have to matter. So the fact that they both have the same record and have a head-to-head, it's really, I don't know. It's not good for Miami and for
no,
them.
It's not. And this momentum at the end of the season has been something the committee has shown favor towards for a while. And if you want to make the sport as good as it possibly can be, which I don't think is the interest of a lot of the folks, unfortunately, that are in charge of college football, a sport I obviously love, then you have to allow these games that get played earlier in the season to mean something. Notre Dame, I believe, is going to start like a 12-year, I'd have to double check, but there was a non-conference scheduling alliance that got announced. I think it was Clemson and Notre Dame, maybe. Ryan, you can double check on that as I'm talking here. But those are the sorts of non-conference games that you want to incentivize because they are good for the sport, because no one wants to see everyone just try and adopt Indiana's schedule as much as they can.
Right.
And look, my perfect scheduling world involves the schools not having power over their own schedules. It's a huge problem, and this is exactly why. Because if the committee sees 10-2 Notre Dame and 10-2 Miami and says, we're going eye test here and putting Notre Dame in over Miami and just ignoring the fact that the teams played and Miami won, then what's the incentive for other teams to schedule quality non-conference opponents? What would be the motivating factor for that? And if Texas beats Texas A&M, they're going to ask the same question. Wait, why did we schedule Ohio State? We could have scheduled a cupcake and been in at 10-2. I wouldn't have, because they'd still have the loss to Florida. And I think that should keep you out. And in my college football playoff rankings, if they ended today, Alabama would not be automatically in the playoff. Now, if things change next week and if Miami loses to Pitt, which is possible, this all gets a lot simpler. And I can tell you, they'd never admit it because that'd be a PR disaster. I can assure you every single member of that playoff committee is the biggest Pitt Panther fan in the world
Oh, yeah.
this weekend, because they do not want to be forced with the choice of putting in Notre Dame, who, by the way, I agree with their thinking, which is, hey, Notre Dame, I think, is a better team today than Miami. Yeah, I agree that that's true. I'm just saying that shouldn't be the selection criteria. You should be primarily driving it by the results on the field. And they could make a colossal mistake there. The other thing that is worth pointing out, BYU being behind Alabama, I find to be ridiculous. I find to be completely ridiculous. Alabama has more good wins. That is true. BYU is not void of quality wins. They have a top 15 victory over Utah, who's a good team. And then BYU's one loss. Alabama's got 2. One loss is on the road against the playoff committee's own number 5 team.
Yep.
Alabama's got 2 losses. One of them's to Oklahoma at home, and one of them is to Florida State, who stinks. And that's just being completely overlooked. And I talked about that to begin my Locked On College Football show today, because it's absurd. It's completely absurd that BYU is going to have to win the Big 12 championship or else they won't get in. It's ridiculous.
Well, I hope it all works itself out. It usually does, and it starts with this week coming up and rivalry week, and there will be some chaos. I want to start with Oregon's game first. They just pulled it off, a great win over USC. Now they're going to be challenged again in the border war. Just a 6.5-point favorite on the road, total 50.5. How do you think they handle this one with Washington coming off back-to-back games where they scored 48 and 49?
Yeah, I think the game plan for Oregon is going to be similar to what they've done the last couple of weeks, and that's get your ground game established and use that to open up the offense as the game progresses. You know, Oregon's weapons are not fully healthy. We'll see if they get Gary Bryant Jr. back or DeCorian Moore. Maybe Evan Stewart plays for the first time this year. I doubt it. I think that Oregon has to be able to control that aspect of the game because it's so important and because they're on the road. You know, it's always something that's really important for their offense. They've done a great job running the ball better this season than they did last year, or better than any year in the Dan Lanning era. When you are on the road, the most demoralizing thing for a home crowd, and that is going to be a great home crowd. They can't make the playoff, but they would love nothing more. This is absolutely, since they lost to Wisconsin, this is Washington's Super Bowl. They are going to be 100% motivated to win the game and try to spoil Oregon's season as they go into the college football playoff. Potentially. If they lose, I don't know that it's a guarantee Oregon's in. I think there's a good chance. I don't know. But if Oregon is not able to run the ball, you put it all on Dante Moore against a secondary that has 2 or 3 NFL caliber guys, and you've got a collection of pass catchers that are good and have played well, but are not at full strength. And is that something you want to mess with? Not really. So I think that for Oregon, if they can take the crowd out of it a bit with a run get, I mean, as a home fan, watching your team get run on is demoralizing. And you lose a little bit of juice. And then that can kind of seep into a sideline when you're trying to silence a road crowd in that sort of spot. So I think it's going to be a really good game. I think Oregon wins, but I don't think it's going to be very easy.
Okay, moving outside of that game and talking more Big Ten grand scheme, it is more than likely going to be Ohio State and Indiana in the Big Ten championship. But how important is it for the conference to have all 3 of those teams be in the top half of the playoff bracket?
I don't think it's critical necessarily. I mean, if Oregon wins this week, if Oregon and Ohio State win, yeah, they will be, because of course they're in that position right now, and Indiana's not going anywhere. They're playing Purdue, who has regressed back to being Purdon't, as I call them, and Ohio State is, I don't know, man. I can't, after last year, ever say there's no way Ohio State loses. No way. They're just better. That was one of the most shocking upsets I've ever seen. But we expanded the playoffs, so they got to go win the national championship anyway, and it didn't actually matter that much. Good job. Good job, college football. But anyway, so I think that for Ohio State and Indiana, they've been the 2 best teams in the Big Ten this year. I do think Ohio State is finally going to win and get that monkey off their back. And I think if Oregon is able to beat Washington, they obviously don't move. They stay in the top half. They get a home playoff game. Ohio State and Indiana get byes, and then they've got a chance to go shut out the SEC from a national championship for a third straight season. And I tell you what, the SEC homers are really uncomfortable right now because they're just watching the grit. They're still a really good conference. I put out my own rankings every week. I'm not sitting here telling you they stink. But man, if they don't win the national championship, if they fail to make the national championship for a third straight season, you're going to see them continually get more and more upset about the fact that is just going to set in as a reality even harder, which is the SEC doesn't dominate college football like it used to. And Georgia could win the national championship. Maybe Texas A&M can go on a run. They're a fun team to watch. Maybe Kalen DeBoer gets things really right at Alabama, though I have my doubts. But if they don't win it again, that's something we literally have not seen this century. The last time the SEC missed consecutive national championship games was, I believe, 2004 and 2005. And it is not a coincidence that it has happened in the last two seasons as everyone else has been able to pay players with NIL. Everyone did it at some degree. But NIL and the portal have changed things in a significant way. And the SEC homer crowd, they are getting really, really nervous.
All right, we know Big Ten and SEC, those are the two top conferences, and I would be shocked if the champion didn't come from one of those two. What about the Big 12 and Texas Tech? Are they for real? Could you see them going on a big run here?
Yeah, I can. I mean, they bring it at both ends. Jacob Rodriguez might be the best defender in college football. Their defensive line is legit. I don't think their secondary gets enough love. But, if Baron Morton is healthy, they can score points. And I don't know what else they'd have to show to make someone believe they're a dangerous playoff team. I think there's that, brand of the Big 12, and they haven't won a playoff game since TCU, and they did beat a team out of the Big 10 that year. And a lot of people thought that they wouldn't. So it's not as if we've never seen it before. I think this Texas Tech team is more complete than that TCU team was. That was very one-sided. Texas Tech plays complementary football, and it wouldn't surprise me at all as long as Baron Morton stays healthy.
Right.
They haven't lost a game this year when he starts at quarterback. Their only loss came when he missed a game at Arizona State, who's played themselves back into the top 25, and they almost won the game, and they had a backup quarterback in. So, yeah, if, the SEC hypothetical crowd, I'm sure we've all come across those wonderful folks, say, oh, well, if this team were in the Big 12, they would go 12. That is what Texas Tech is doing. If this team were in the Big 12, their record would be, Alabama would roll the Big 12. Yeah, Texas Tech is rolling the Big 12. I don't have to think about a hypothetical. I'm watching it every single week. They have a better roster. They're very well coached. They have experience at quarterback. They have good coordinators. Everything about Texas Tech is a good and complete football team. They just have to go out on the field and keep Baron Morton healthy.
One more question for you about college football before we shift over to NFL a little bit here. Upset alert. Any teams jump out to you that you think can pull off the upset this week?
Ole Miss. There is so much smoke around Lane Kiffin. The distraction factor can be very real for a team. It can be very real for a head coach. And Mississippi State is playing for bowl eligibility in a rivalry game at home. They should already be bowl eligible, but they blew it against Texas in the fourth quarter, which was just, oh boy, Brandon Walker was having a rough day on that afternoon. But I think that Ole Miss's ability to lose is very real. This is one I actually had pegged before the season started as a potential upset alert. And now you have worked in all of these other factors and all of this drama. And I think Lane Kiffin will want to coach and win, but I also suspect Lane Kiffin's thinking a little bit more about LSU. And if that message or reality seeps into his team at all, man, you are on the road playing a very motivated team. Jeff Lebby has done a good job at Mississippi State. I think he'll continue to do a pretty good job. Getting to a bowl game would be absolutely huge. And yes, Ole Miss has a better roster. Mississippi State's defense is totally atrocious. But that offense can cook. They are at home. If they score early, boy, the cowbells are going to be ringing really loud. I don't know why that's allowed, but whatever. And I think that Mississippi State could find a way to get that one done.
Do you think there's any shot that Auburn gets the Iron Bowl?
Yes. I think that is entirely possible. I cannot rule out Michigan beating Ohio State, not after last year. Frankly, I would love if Auburn won the Iron Bowl, because then you wouldn't be able to try to justify Alabama getting into the playoff. Right. At 9-3 with losses to Florida State and Auburn, no. I'm sorry, you can't overcome that. Yep. Or at least you shouldn't be able to. I don't think the committee do it. I think the discrepancy, visually, which unfortunately matters, of BYU potentially at 11-2. I think that would put them in over Alabama at 9-3. And then the SEC crowd that was all upset last year because their 9-3 teams didn't get in. There are going to be too many squads at 10-2 for a 3-loss team to get in, which I am 100% in favor of. And some 10-win teams are going to miss the college football playoff. And I'm okay with that too, because my priority is making sure that the week-to-week urgency on college football remains the same, because that is what has always made the sport great. And you chip away at that, the more you expand the playoff. I do worry they're going to leave out of Miami or 11-2 BYU, both of which got left out with a combined 20 wins last year. And they'll use it as a justification to expand the playoff to 16 teams, in which case I'm not going to say that on the air. But anyway, I wouldn't be very happy.
All right, we'll move off of college football. I'll give you one NFL question for you. It is to your Seahawks. Well, I guess it's a kind of a three-parter. How real are they? Should Mike Macdonald win Coach of the Year? And should Jackson Smith-Njigba win Offensive Player of the Year?
Yes. Are we done? I only have one question, and it's not where is Harvey Dent. The question is, what will Sam Darnold be able to do the next time a big game rolls around? And can he shake that reality? It's not a narrative. It is just, unfortunately, a truth. But the connection between him and JSN is unlike anything I have seen in my life as a Seahawks fan. There has not been anything like it before. There probably won't be again unless those two guys both stick around for next year, and that is certainly where things are trending. I'm not as bullish on the pending quarterback class. They drafted Jalen Milroe, but I'm good with Sam Darnold for the next couple of years. And they played well enough against Tennessee to get a bounce back. They play Minnesota this week. I look at what Mike Macdonald has done since he got there, and man, it has been a breath of fresh air, because the Seahawks are playing real defense again. They haven't even been fully healthy. Ernest Jones has been in and out. Deuce Knight's been in and out. Julian Love hasn't played this year. They're starting safety, and yet they have one of the best defenses in the NFL because they're built really well up front, and they've got some playmakers in the secondary. But what he has done this year, bringing in Clint Kubiak as the offense coordinator, has been an absolute revelation. It's the third OC that the Seahawks have had in the last 3 years, and he's the best one. It's not particularly close. And then JSN is God, reincarnated, and that's my final statement on that.
I know the award is only 1 year, but really, since he's been there, 10 wins last year with Geno Smith, nobody really knew what to expect this year with Sam Darnold going there. What were your expectations going into the year, realistically?
That they'd be a playoff team for sure, because it did hit me last year. Like, man, 10 wins didn't get in the playoffs. Like that was pretty good.
Yeah,
and there were some moments that were frustrating, and some of those were Geno Smith oriented. By the way, this show's airing in Las Vegas. I have to just discuss the hilariousness of what the Raiders have tried to do this year. That they just watched what Pete Carroll and Geno Smith did in Seattle, and they had some good moments for sure. They made a playoff appearance and then lost at home to John Wofford. If I don't understand how the Rams or the Raiders looked at what the Seahawks did with those guys and said, well, they're older now, but let's make them the future of our franchise. I can't believe that Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, and Jamal Adams, and Tyler Lockett, who I absolutely love, I can't believe that core isn't working out for the Raiders. Holy smokes, guys. That's the biggest surprise of the year in the NFL, more than JSN setting the Seahawks single-season receiving yards record in 11 games. I can't believe that the core of players that and a head coach that made one playoff appearance in the last 5 seasons and hasn't won a playoff game in their careers when they're together. I can't believe that as they got older, they went to Vegas and it didn't work. I am in complete and utter shock. It is the biggest surprise of my entire life.
You can't forget about your beloved
Carroll.
Chip Kelly.
And then they hired Chip and then fired him in 8. I mean, the offense was bad. It's hard to argue with that. But, man, I look at what Sam Darnold is doing right now, and I look at what Geno Smith is doing right now and what he did last year, and I go, well, Geno's at least a little part of the problem. But Geno is definitely better than what he has put on the field this year. So I understand making a change, but, man, the Raiders are they and the Browns just refuse to get out of their own way. They just refuse over. And I mean, Josh McDaniels, Antonio Pierce, and Pete Carroll those are the last 3 Raiders head coaches, right? Like, come on, guys. It's sad to watch on the one hand, and on the other hand, as a Seahawks fan, I'm going, man, I could have told you this wasn't going to work, and you tried it anyway. I feel bad for Max Crosby. Get him out of Las Vegas.
Hey, the line of scrimmage matters, right? And I can't get into it. We got to let you go here. But, I mean, they wanted Ashton Genty so early with a class full of good running backs instead of going for an O-lineman that they desperately need. So
they got my guy Jackson Powers Johnson, and he's hurt at the moment, but he's a stud.
Yeah, no,
he's a stud. And when you blow everything up in Las Vegas and start over, you just trade him right to Seattle, and we'll give you a nice draft pick compensation.
Probably will happen. Spencer, we appreciate your time and your hot takes there. They use Spencer McLaughlin. Follow him on X, S McLaughlin. CFB, the voice of Southern Utah Athletics, host of Locked On Ducks and Locked On College Football. We'll see you soon. Good luck to your Ducks this weekend.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. Ryan, don't ever pick my Ducks again. Less than 2 hours from Vegas, but I know how to find you. See you guys.
Is that just on the hardwood? Can you pick them this week for college football? We'll find out. We're going to talk over that game here soon. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to dive into some college football games that'll be happening early Friday morning. We'll refresh you what we like for tomorrow's NFL games. And, of course, we have college basketball and hockey when we get back.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Welcome back, everybody. Shout out to Spencer McLaughlin. We appreciate him jumping on. I like his passion. He really dives deep into some of these topics here. Right now, we do have a ticker trivia that is live. Of course, ticker trivia is sponsored by City Light Shine. It is available in Las Vegas, Lee's Discount Liquor, Total Wine, and right here at the South Point gift shop. So come say hello, stop in at the South Point, say hi to all the bookmakers behind the desk and us if we are here. All right, we also have a poll question going, another clever one from our guy, Vince. Ryan, have we had anybody jumping in yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Poll's been pretty good. We had the trivia question was hockey, and so our poll question today was also hockey. So saving room before Thanksgiving, not necessarily filling up your plate tonight, but which NHL game, will go under the total of 5.5 today? All odds via the South Point between Flyers, Panthers, getting even money under 5.5. Wild at Blackhawks, getting even money under the 5.5. Senators here in Vegas taking on the Golden Knights, again, even money under 5.5. And the Dallas Stars on a back-to-back in Seattle, taking on the Kraken, getting even money at 5.5. And currently it looks like everybody's going with the Wild and Blackhawks in Chicago going on the under, but still leave that up for a little bit. And we'll talk hockey here in a little bit.
I bet you that has a lot to do with the goalie there in Chicago, Spencer Knight, playing very good hockey. So I do not hate that under either. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they had another winner yesterday.
The chat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. They've been doing pretty good.
They have been doing very good as a collective, right? The high percentage has been crushing it. We're going to look at some college football games. As we go through a couple of these, we are going to give you some of Bruce Marshall's plays, and then we'll recap all of those as we go through. But starting with tomorrow night, one college football game, Navy at Memphis. Memphis, this number has moved down. It was Memphis 6. Now it is 4.5. Total 58.5. I already thought 6 was pretty light on Memphis. I do worry about going against the service academy, so I have not bet it yet. But now it's one of those kind of like yesterday, Ryan, where it's going against me. Maybe I need to dive into it a little bit more. I mean, is Brendan Lewis playing here for Memphis, or is he out? We know we've had injuries at the quarterback position all year long. Give and take a little bit, but ultimately, I mean, I think they are the better team and they could cover this. But so that's all I really have on that one. Shall we move on to Friday morning, or do you have any thoughts on Navy and Memphis?
I don't. I do lean to Navy, so we could have a little two-way action there. But it would just be, the service academy going against a team that isn't exactly not a winning in their conference scenario. So. But we can go to Friday as we have some pretty big games Friday morning before we have our football frenzy.
Yes, we do. And we'll go to one that Spencer just brought up, and Bruce Marshall also has a play on it. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, 7-point dog here for the home team, total 63.5. I'm on board with both of them. Bruce Marshall likes the 7 points here with Mississippi State. Spencer said that Ole Miss was on upset alert. What about you?
I had mentioned it yesterday. My brother is attending Ole Miss, so I will be rooting for the Rebels here, as I am also rooting for Lane Kiffin to stay in Oxford, but it's seeming like that will not be the case. And I do understand how crazy it sounds to leave an 11-1 team out of the playoff if they lose their head coach. But granted, a lot of more dominoes would have to fall for that scenario to play out. But the head coach does have a massive implication, especially with the roster. Talking about just the distraction of this game, where he's going. If he's gone, the distraction of all the players on the roster, how much are they going to be going into the playoff trying to compete for those and not trying to save for the next transfer, maybe to follow Lane or wherever they may go to chase that NIL money. So not necessarily a confident play on the 7, but I will be rooting for it.
Very good. I will be honest. My number is 7. So if I do play this, it will be more betting on the thought that, maybe less prep for this game, thinking that it's, Mississippi State. They are the better team. They don't have to do a whole lot this week. And the distractions and him negotiating whatever deal he is. But I've liked Mississippi State all year. This is just a spot. It did not work out that I thought it was a great spot taking the points with them. They did need that bye week, though. So kind of what Spencer said, their offense is legit with Blake Shapen, and they just kind of ran out of gas against Georgia, and then since then, but they needed a bye week. They should be ready for this one. Highly motivated. I do like what he said about Washington, which I was already kind of leaning Washington, but him talking about them wanting to, ruin Oregon's season, that one I do have a difference in my numbers, taking the 6.5 there. So that will be a play for me, but kind of leaning that way here with Mississippi State as well. Next on the list, Iowa and Nebraska, one-way traffic here. Iowa 5 to 6 point favorite now, and the total 38.5. I do have a play. Do you have anything that you're looking at in this one, this Big Ten matchup?
I do not. I've just enjoyed the banter between George Kittle and Will Compton in a public space. Just trying to hype this one up as it's not necessarily the biggest game on the board on Friday.
Very true. I like Nebraska getting that many points here, and I've been on Iowa a lot this year. I just think last week was a bet against Nebraska, against Penn State. I didn't use that one, but I loved it. Penn State won 37-10, and now everybody's jumping ship from Nebraska. Since the backup quarterback came in, his first game, they won 28-21 against UCLA. I do think that he can find some success here. First home start for the young quarterback, and I'm blanking on his name right now, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. The total's telling you that, 38.5. That is where I have it as well. Iowa's been pretty impressive. I do think they're a top 20 team in the country. It is going to be a tough defense, but I think Nebraska can hang around in this one. Iowa loves to play one-score field goal games. We just saw it again last week, week 13, 2017 win over Michigan State. Let's do it again here with the Cornhuskers. I think they can keep it close. So moving on, because those are my two plays for the early window, but we do have more from Bruce Marshall. He's looking at the big one, Ryan, and he's on the opposite side as me. 335, 336, Longhorns and Aggies. What did Bruce Marshall say in this?
Yeah, so it is a 2.5 road favorite for the Aggies, and Bruce Marshall likes the home team getting the points here, getting the 2.5. I'm not necessarily sure of his reasoning. I'm on the other side. I think A&M handles business here in Texas, or winning the Lone Star battle. But yeah, Bruce likes the Longhorns plus the 2.5.
I'm with you. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. Not Bruce. Sean is with Bruce. He likes Texas, the dog here. I will just say the look-ahead line or preseason game of the year is pretty crazy. I think it's between 8 and 10. Texas being the favorite at home against A&M. So that is a 8 to 10 swing.
So it looks like it was actually 11.5 here at the South Point.
It was 11.5 at the South Point. Okay. I thought I saw 10 at another shop.
And it was A&M getting the 11.5.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, 13-point swing.
13-point swing here. So that makes me a little bit nervous. I mean, where these two teams are and where they are mentally. And I know Texas wants to win this and upset A&M, and maybe they keep them out of the SEC title game, but A&M's playing really good right now. They've got a good team chemistry going. They're playing good football, both sides. And A&M already had their scare, right? If they didn't have to come back from 30-0 against South Carolina or 31-3, whatever it was, then maybe I'd be a little more nervous, but they're going to be focused and ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one we are on opposite sides as Bruce Marshall. So far, he likes Mississippi State +7, Texas +2.5. Next on the list, let's keep it rolling here to the Saturday games, keeping it with the SEC, 353, 354. Bruce Marshall likes the 3 against Louisville in this one.
Yeah, the road team getting the 3. The Kentucky Wildcats against their rival, the Louisville Cardinals. Likes the Wildcats getting the 3 on the road.
And then you brought up the next one with Spencer as well.
Yeah, the Iron Bowl. Auburn getting 6 points at home against the Crimson Tide. Bruce does like the Tigers to cover here against Alabama.
Oh, I don't like this one. I'm going to stay off of it because I just don't like the fact that Ashton Daniels played one game since benching Jackson Arnold, and now then they went to Deuce Knight, and he had a great game. It's not going to be Deuce Knight. He's not going to be the quarterback. It is going to be Ashton Daniels, who I do think played really good in his first start. So does that throw Alabama off, or I don't know. Is it kind of a panic move? Alabama's the better team. I think they could win easily by a touchdown. I can just see the motivated angle here and why you'd want to take the dog with such a big rivalry, but it would be Bama or pass for me. Anything for you?
I thought that Auburn offense looked absolutely electric with Deuce Knight under center.
Yeah.
So them going with the other guy, not necessarily as confident with them getting the 6 here in the Iron Bowl. So we'll move on to Big Ten games, as Bruce likes 2 of them here. He does like Penn State minus the 13 at Rutgers. That one is 13, and the total is 55.5.
I don't hate that one at all. Penn State's been the right side the last couple of weeks. They are playing good football right now. It is a pretty big number, though, to be laying on the road. But that's the side I'd be playing if I was. Next up.
He likes a pick 'em game.
Yep.
Likes Wisconsin on the road at Minnesota. Numbers have kind of varied in the market. There is a minus on Wisconsin, minus 1.5 on Wisconsin. There's also a minus 1.5 on Minnesota. But here at the South Point, it is a pick. So that's what we went with here. Wisconsin pick against Minnesota, on the road against Minnesota.
Okay, so if you do like it as well, or you want to follow Bruce, as you should, because he's had a very good season, as he consistently does, of course, contributor for Sportsline, then get it now, because I think it's probably going to continue to move to the Wisconsin side. They've won 2 of their last 3 games, coming off a big win over Illinois. Lost to Indiana, still kept it close. They covered that one, and before that, as we were talking about with Spencer too, they beat Washington. So that's kind of where it kicked off their little bit of a good run here for the Badgers. So we'll see if they can keep it going. I really didn't have anything strong in that one. We get to see a rematch, Ryan, and it's on Bruce Marshall's list here. We already saw Oregon State with a big upset over Washington State. Now he thinks the Huskies are the right side.
Yeah, that one was at Oregon State, being that these 2 Pac-12 teams are now playing 2 games against each other in order to keep their schedules full. This one is in Wazoo, so Washington State minus the 13.5 here at the South Point, total 42. Bruce Marshall does like the home team to cover, get the revenge back, minus the 13.5.
And excuse me, I said Huskies, I meant Cougars. We were just talking about the other Washington. I like them as well. I like how they've been playing, and I do think that they can win this one. I don't love that number. I think in the first game, and I'll have to go back and look, but just a few weeks ago, I mean, Washington State was under a touchdown, I think, on the road. So it's a pretty big shift there in a matter of a couple weeks. So that's the only thing that I would tread lightly with. But Oregon State's kind of a mess. So that's it for us. Do you have any other plays now, or are you saving them for Friday? Because I'm giving out some of my plays now. I will not be here on Football Frenzy. I will be in the chat, though. I will be watching the show, but Ryan will be running and steering the ship here with Chris Andrews and Vinny. So you're going to save yours for Friday, or is there anything else? Okay.
Yeah, I'll be saving mine. Football Frenzy is not at the normal noon, top of the hour. We are pushing back to 12:15, being that the NFL game between the Chicago Bears and Philadelphia Eagles kicks off at noon, and there are also college football games that we had just talked about a couple minutes ago, kicking off in the 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock hours. So 12:15 will be the Football Frenzy kickoff time this Friday.
Very much looking forward to that game. That it's going to be tough for you, as that game will be on as you are doing a 2-hour show. But you can be, you can have a screen or a monitor available.
Yeah, I might have my second screen set up like the desk upstairs. So
definitely.
We'll see how it goes.
Let's go to the Players Era. There's not a whole lot of games that I really want to touch on, unless anybody has any questions, puts it in the chat, and we'll talk to Vince. But we got to talk about that championship game, Gonzaga and Michigan. And I'm curious your thoughts, if you like one side or the other, and Michigan catching points here.
Yeah, Michigan catching 1.5 here at the South Point. There are 2.5s available in the market. So if you like Michigan, you can shop around. If you like Gonzaga, best price you're going to get here is at the South Point minus the 1.5, which I do like the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Their odds to win the national championship have steadily dropped in the last couple of days with how they performed in this Players Era tournament. It's now 12-1 here at the South Point, 10-1 elsewhere here in Las Vegas. But yeah, I like the Bulldogs here tonight.
Looking at Kenny White's numbers here, he does as well. He made Gonzaga 4 and the total 165.5. I don't think I'm going to bet this one. I think I am just going to watch and enjoy it, because, I mean, that Michigan team, they're playing really good as well. So I feel like catching points with either side, but that doesn't always work out for you. So maybe an in-game where you can get some more points there. And is there any other that you want to talk about from the Players era?
There's the third place game between Kansas and Tennessee. Tennessee did pull off the upset against Houston yesterday, and now they are a 5-point favorite here at South Point against the Kansas Jayhawks. Total is at 139.5. What do your numbers say there?
Numbers say Tennessee 3-point favorite.
Okay.
Total 140.5. So
Right
maybe a little bit of value there, catching 5 with Kansas.
Anything in one of the final round games, the actual final game of the day, tipping off at 9 p.m. over at MGM between Maryland and Alabama. Alabama put up 115 last night against UNLV. Maryland beat UNLV on Monday. Alabama laying 12.5 here. 165.5 is the total.
A little bit of a lean to the over. 171 is the number I've got in Alabama as a 13-point favorite. So side is right there, but over might be the play. We did get there last night with the Rutgers under. A Syracuse under. So wonder what their total. Now, no unders today.
Yeah, everybody's kind of playing in the same gym that they have been the last several days. So the shooter's eye not coming into play as much as it was in the first couple of nights when we saw an incredible amount of unders on Monday. So, yeah, I'm right there with you on the over for Alabama. They played really well last night, and if they're able to keep up the tempo, I like them to run up the score.
I think they will be able to put up a lot of points here once again. What about that Auburn-St. John's? That's a little bit of a value going over in that one, too. 165 or 166 now.
Yeah.
Same number as that Bama number at 172. So that might be even a bigger difference. So we think Auburn and St. John's can put up enough points is the question. But I do like the tempo. Yeah,
both teams have played some pretty competitive games so far the last 2 days here in Vegas. So I would imagine this one will be about the same and a defensive battle probably right around this 160 mark. So 166 might be a little rich, but two very good teams that are capable of getting there. So it's a stay off for me in that one. Tipping off at 5 p.m. today.
Auburn catching points after Michigan really put it on them yesterday, but like you said, we do know they are a good team. So it might be a good bounce back spot for them. But St. John's, I like them. I really do. So that should be a good game.
We did have a question a request from Vicarious Vegas down in Maui between USC and Arizona State. USC is laying 5.5. Total is 164.
Okay, let me find that one.
793, 794.
Thank you. South Carolina, Arizona State. So we've got USC 6 and the total 158.
Okay, so 6-point difference on the total to the under, and then the spread's right there, 5.5 to 6.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's a good under. Should be a good underplay there between the Trojans and the Sun Devils. All right. I'm trying to get a UNLV women's basketball number as well, but have not heard back yet. So
your dad's been spot on with those women's college basketball numbers. So if he is able to get us before we get out of here, that would be awesome for the request in the chat. But we'll move to the ice. We've got 15 games today, none tomorrow. Great job, NHL. But we'll start with one down in Florida. We'll skip over the Islanders and Bruins. But Flyers, Panthers minus 180 at home. Total is 5.5 with juice to the over.
I don't love laying this price, and I don't want to overreact, but I really do like how Florida is playing. They've won 3 of their last 4, 5 of their last 7. So I think that this is a Panther spot. I'm going to play a little bit on the puck line here, minus 1.5 at plus 145. It's been home sweet home for these two. So Panthers won the first matchup 2-1 in Florida. Flyers won the next one 5-2 in Philadelphia. So I think the Panthers get one back here at home. Both goalies have been playing really good. Was this one on our 5.5 list?
It was not. This one had juice to the. Yes, it was. I misspoke. Yes, they currently are getting a quarter of the votes, but still behind the other game that we mentioned earlier. So
okay. So yeah, I mean both goalies really are playing well and have good numbers. So could be a tighter game. But really, Florida, they're 9th right now in scoring, 18th in goals allowed, where the Flyers have been doing it with their defense because they are tied for 12th in goals allowed, but they are 26th in scoring. It's going to be a tough matchup here for them.
All right, we'll go to Columbus, a team that I faded a couple nights ago, but they are hosting the Maple Leafs tonight. It is a pick'em in the market, minus 115 to the home team here at the South Point. Total is 6 with minus 130 to the over.
And we know Toronto was on a nice over streak, and that came to an end. But I think we're going to get it back here in this one. I like over 6 between these two. The Maple Leafs right now are 1-6 on the road. So that has not been great, but it's mostly because they've been giving up goals. Right now, they're 29th in the league in goals allowed. Columbus, on the other side, they are 30th. So not much better. I think we're going to see some goals on both sides. The first game was very high scoring in Columbus, 6-3. And then when they played in Toronto, it was lower scoring, 3-2. But I think we'll get goals from both sides. So over 6 for me. I made it 6.5.
Okay. We'll go down to Carolina. The Hurricanes are hosting the Rangers. They are a bigger favorite, minus 185. Total is 6 with juice to the under, minus 115.
And this didn't make the list because it wasn't 5.5, but I do like under in this game, under that 6. I think this could have been a 5.5. So we're getting a nice little value there. The only concern, as it always is betting an under with Carolina. They're third right now in goals per game, averaging 3.5. But they do have Frederick Anderson. Numbers aren't great to start the year, but they have been getting better. Shesterkin on the other side. So kind of a fate of the Rangers, 30th in scoring. Shesterkin, one of the best goalies. So I do like unders with the Rangers, and I'm going to go under 6, thinking that they can slow down the cadence just a little bit here.
Okay. We'll skip over Calgary and Tampa, as well as St. Louis and New Jersey. Going to Detroit. The Predators are on the road, taking on the Red Wings. Minus 150 for the Wings at home, getting plus 130 on the Preds. I wouldn't do it. Total is 6 flat in the market.
I wouldn't either. I think 150 is actually a little bit light here on the Red Wings, but I do like another under here at 6. Another one I thought could have been 5.5, but I guess I'm just fading those teams that are struggling to score. 32nd right now in scoring is Nashville. 2.32 is their average goals per game. Now, they can give up a lot of goals. They're 30th in that category, but Detroit tied for 22nd in scoring, 2.91. So give me some good goaltending, and we'll keep this one under that 6.
I like it there. Ugly offense, no hook, chance to push there at the 6. I like that under as well. All right, going to a next one. Skipping over Sabres, Penguins, as well as Jets on the road in nation's capital against the Capitals. But going to Chicago, the Wild on the road against the Blackhawks. The Wild have a streak of 16 consecutive games against the Blackhawks in which they've recorded at least 1 point. They've won 15 of those 16 and 1 overtime loss. So not good in recent history for the Hawks here, but they are hosting, getting 120 on the buyback as the home team here at the South Point. Total is 5.5 with juice to the over.
Do you know where this number opened, Ryan?
Let me take a look.
Because I'm curious if that, like, head-to-heads and just how teams play against each other, if that's already baked into the number. Because when I saw this number, I thought it was way off. And I will mention the Wild are playing much better. They're 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. So starting to figure some things out. We know this team does have talent. Went to the playoffs the last couple years. I think they were knocked out in the first round almost every year. But still, they do have they have the talent and are starting to pick it up. I think Chicago does as well. I like that side. I thought that number was crazy. And I thought it'd be closer to a pick. Maybe Minnesota minus 120. So I think there's value there. But you were saying what it opened at? Yeah,
it's here. The money hasn't moved either way. So the money line has been 140 minus 120 the whole time. Looks like in the market, grand scheme was minus 141, 116. So right there, not much movement. There are better prices getting plus 125 on the Hawks if you like that, which I do. They lost 1-0 to the Avalanche. They looked like the better team against the Avalanche. Also, the Blackhawks were coming off of a 9-3 loss to the Sabres. But the Hawks have been very feisty all year. And being in the United Center, being in that madhouse on Madison, I like the Hawks here getting the plus money.
I do too. What are we laying for plus 1.5? Jeez, that should tell you it all right there. They don't want to give
$2 for getting a puck and a half.
Yeah. So they got a shot to be in this one.
I like it. All right, going to those aforementioned Avalanche hosting the San Jose Sharks. They are a minus 380 favorite, $4 elsewhere in the market, 320 on the buyback for the Sharks here at the South Point. Total is 6 with minus 115 to the over.
I got to find all of my trends too, but I like over in this one with the 6. I kind of found a lot of 6s that I thought could have been 6.5 or 5.5. And this is one of those where I think we're going to get goals here between these two. We know San Jose kind of boom or bust, and it's been more bust lately, but I do think that they can put up some goals, and they'll be skating fast here with Colorado. So over for me between these two. I did want to find if I had trends or streaks to go with it. And what I believe it was their medians that really... Okay, so Sharks are on an under streak. 3 in a row. 1 at home, 1 over for the Avs at home. But it was really their medians that got me, because the Sharks on the road scoring 3, giving up 4. That would be nice. Colorado scoring 4 at home, giving up between 2 and 3. So I would love to see that 7 there. So we don't push from either side. But Colorado, huge favorite, as they should be. How many regulation losses do they have on the year?
1.
I thought so. Okay, just making sure it's still at 1.
Yeah, they are currently on pace to break the NHL's points record. So absolutely playing like the best team in the league, and I don't think that changes tonight. The minus 150 on the puck line, I don't necessarily want to lay it, but I would think that that's where it goes, at least for the first 2 periods, and maybe we get a little garbage from the Sharks there at the end to get it closer or get us there to that total going over. But yeah, the Avs are a favorite here for a reason. That heavy of a favorite for a reason. So
minus 150 is crazy.
Yeah. I'll have to. We'll maybe have to take a look at what the 2.5 would be. But that's not easy to get. So skipping over Canadians in Utah taking on the Mammoth, and going to talk about the Senators here in Las Vegas taking on the Golden Knights. The Knights are a minus 170 favorite here at the South Point. Total is 5.5 with the minus 120 to the over.
I like over 5.5 in this one. Another one that I thought could have been 6. Now, I know Ottawa, as of late, hasn't been putting up very many goals, but overall on the year, they are tied for 9th in scoring. Vegas, and that average is 3.14. Vegas, on the other side, tied for 14 at 309. Ottawa, too, 24th in goals allowed, 3.23. So I know we have 2 pretty good goalies going here with Olmark, and Schmidt's been pretty good for Vegas. His numbers, 245 goals against, and a 902 save percentages are pretty good. But I think we're going to get goals. I think we can get at least 6 here. And if Vegas keeps it going with their overtime thing, hopefully it is 3-3 going to overtime.
All right, we'll give you one more just to see where your numbers are at, because it was in the poll. Going to Seattle, the Stars taking on the Kraken, the Stars on the back-to-back after beating up on the Oilers last night 8-3. Total is 5.5 with juice to the over here at the South Point, getting even money on the under. And Dallas is a minus 130 favorite on the road. What do your numbers say?
My total is my total is actually juiced to the under. So under 5.5 at even money looks pretty good for me, because I'm 5.5 minus 125. My numbers say Dallas on the road minus 148, so an 18-cent difference, but you're not really getting that back on the other side. So yeah, if I were to play it, it would be under, and even money there is pretty tempting. It's always tough though, Ryan, trying to guess what are we going to get from the Stars after putting up 8 last night. I would imagine maybe a slower start, right, and kind of going and betting on that under. Or do they keep it going?
Yeah, I tend to think that a team like that will keep flying. But Seattle at home has been a pretty nice atmosphere for them. So maybe they can slow things down in that first period. But ultimately, I do think it's priced right with the road team being favored here. So
yes. Median numbers, Seattle at home, scoring 3, giving up 2. So you're right. At home, they have been good on that end for sure. 3 straight unders for Seattle as well.
Well, so now we'll go to our results for that poll, being in the in the realm of hockey. So saving room before Thanksgiving, which NHL game will go under the total of 5.5 today? Wild Blackhawks, even money, under 5.5. Flyers, Panthers, even money, under 5.5. Senators, Golden Knights, even money, under 5.5. And the Stars on the road in Seattle, taking on the Kraken, even money, under that 5.5. And our viewers are going to Chicago, taking the under between the Wild and the Blackhawks, getting that even money in the Madhouse on Madison.
Nice. What was my exact number on that one? I'm gonna have to double check now. Because I skipped over that. Minnesota, Chicago. Mine's 5.78. So I would be more 6 under 22. So not so much for me on that one, but I like it. Could be a wrong number here. Median numbers definitely say it. 3 goals for Minnesota on the road, 2 goals against, and 2-3 for Chicago, and 3 at home. But Spencer Knight's been very good. They got to break this skid. I'm taking the Blackhawks tonight.
I mean, yeah, coming off of a 1-0 loss to those Colorado Avalanche, the best team in the league, in which the Hawks looked like they were right, not necessarily right there with them, but certainly competitive and had their chances to score goals in that game. And 1-0 isn't exactly how that game looked.
Yeah.
But if it is Spencer Knight, which confirmed Spencer Knight versus Philip Gustafsson. So yeah, the two starting goaltenders, the two have been known as fantastic goaltenders previously, like the under there as well. So don't fault the viewers there.
No, I do not either. Shall we go to our trivia question of the day?
Yeah, ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine, available at Lee's Discount Liquor here in Las Vegas. Total Wine, and there was one more location, right, Alex?
Here at the South Point, Total Wine and Lee's Discount Liquor. You got them all.
Okay. Hockey question for you today. The National Hockey League was founded on this date in sports history, November 26, 1917, in Montreal, Canada. Which 2 charter members of the league are still playing today? The answer would be, contrary to popular belief, the original six teams of the NHL, Bruins, Blackhawks, Red Wings, Rangers, Canadiens, and Maple Leafs, are not the true original 6 teams of the league. Those 6 teams played from 1942 onward, but up until that point, only the Canadiens and Maple Leafs, 2 Canadian teams, have had the league history dating all the way back to 1917. Along with the Canadiens and Maple Leafs, the old Ottawa Senators and Montreal Wanderers were the other 2 teams that played games in the league's original 1917-1918 season. So again, all Canadian teams.
Very good. Did we have anybody answer in the chat?
We did not. That was a very tough question by our Vince. So we'll give him the win there.
Okay. Vince gets the win. All right. I wanted to add a couple college football plays. Do you want to go over Bruce Marshall's one more time, and then
Sure.
we'll go through your plays for tonight, and then I'll give my plays, and we'll get out of here.
Okay. Yeah. Bruce Marshall's plays. He's got 4 in SEC games Friday and Saturday. He's got Mississippi State getting the 7 against Ole Miss at home. He's got Texas getting the 2.5 at home against A&M. He's got Kentucky taking the 3 on the road at Louisville. He's also got Auburn plus the 6 at home against the Alabama Crimson Tide. And then he's got 2 games in the Big Ten. Penn State laying the wood, laying the 13 at Rutgers. Wisconsin, a pick'em price here at the South Point at Minnesota. And then the 1 Pac-12 rejects game, Washington State covering the 13.5 at home against Oregon State.
Okay, perfect. And I am done with mine too. I will put this in. I'm just taking A&M money line. I think 128 was the best price. But I do like where Mike Elko has his team. I think they'll be highly motivated because remember, Texas did the same thing to them last year.
Yep.
Where they had a chance. Any plays for you tonight? Do you want to go through first?
Tonight, yeah, in hockey, we'll be going under in Detroit. 2 pretty bad teams, thinking we won't get offense there. We'll be taking the Blackhawks on the money line to hopefully break the streak against the Wild, win it in regulation, and then an under excuse me, Oh, Washington, Winnipeg. I know we didn't talk about it, but I do like the under there between Winnipeg and Washington. And then just a reminder of tomorrow's Thanksgiving games. I do like the Lions to cover the 2.5 against the Packers, and I do like the under the 52.5 in Chiefs Cowboys.
As I do too. So go and watch our clips. We have one for each of those 3 games. Just so happen we both like the Lions and that under. So, but go watch our reasoning for each of those on the YouTube channel.
Also, Matt's picks.
Matt's picks.
Yeah.
With us, you mean those 2?
Yeah, in those segmented videos that are up on our YouTube page. We've got each Thanksgiving game, our breakdown. You, me, and Matt breaking it down each of those games. So.
And then didn't our friend Agent 87 gave us a trend?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Compliments the Lions pick and the Chiefs. It kind of leans to the Chiefs there too.
Yeah. Let me get it right here. Yeah. So courtesy of Agent 87, letting us know that since 2004, favorites are 51-9 straight up, 40-20 against the spread on Thanksgiving, and then just an added stat. I got to go to my bookmark tweets. But per Bet Labs, road favorites on Thanksgiving, 25-1 straight up, 20-6 against the spread. That would be involving the Chiefs laying the 3 in Dallas.
Very good. Love those. Thank you for adding that in for us, Agent 87. I can hear my dad's dad jokes about Agent 87 every time I bring him up. About Ask Agent 88 or something. But anyways, going to my whiteboard place of the day. That's smart.
I love Get Smart. So funny.
Okay, here we go. We are going Toronto and Columbus Blue Jackets over the 6. So I do like Ryan's Blackhawks as well at a plus price. I just went with 3 totals. I'm going with Nashville and Detroit under 6. And I'm going with San Jose and Colorado over 6. I really think Colorado can give us 4 here to help us get us over that. So just need 2 from San Jose. For the weekend, Nebraska plus 6 against Iowa. I think it's going to be a 3-point game, which will be good for the bookmakers. Washington, I'm taking 6.5 here with them against Oregon. And A&M minus 128 on the money line to get the win over Texas. I will be in the chat on Friday if I have any more, but I need to do some more homework tonight and tomorrow before finalizing all of my contest picks. So that's it for me for now. Ryan, did I miss anything? Everybody knows no show tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you enjoy your day. Enjoy watching the Macy's Day Parade. And of course the 3 football games. So that's it for me. Anything from you?
Yeah, just my one added thing is I'm thankful for the crew here. I'm thankful for our listeners. I'm thankful for the opportunity to just talk sports with you guys. And I hope everybody enjoys their Thanksgiving. Should have wonderful time with the family. We live a precious life, so enjoy it. Thankful for it, and yeah, thank you guys.
Very well said, and I second all of that. So thank you, crew. Everybody behind the scenes. Thank you, Ryan, for Ryan McCormick. I will be back next Monday. Everybody have a great weekend. Have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy Football Frenzy. Don't miss it. Bookmark it right now. I know you're going to get busy. You're going to be shopping online. So bookmark it for Friday, 12:15 Football Frenzy. Chris Andrews, Vinny, and Ryan McCormick. I'll be back on Monday. See you guys soon. Thanks for watching. This is, of course, Sports by the Book.